The sun rose over what was once called Seoul. 50 years had passed since the ships of the Star Dominion first darkened Earth's skies. Now, the city was a mix of human buildings and alien towers that reached impossibly high. Princess Hannah stood at the window of the tallest tower. Though she looked human from a distance, her pale blue skin and large, dark eyes marked her as different. At the human age of 25, she was young for a ruler, but her father, the Emperor, had sent her to Earth as her first test of leadership. "The morning report, Your Highness," said an aide, bowing low. Hannah turned from the window. "Read it to me." Another attack on our supply center in the southern region. The human rebel group struck at night. They took food, medicine, and weapons. 3 of our guards were killed. Hannah's face stayed calm, but her hands tightened. The same group as before. Yes, led by the one called Ta. Hannah had heard this name many times in the 6 months she had ruled Earth. This human rebel was becoming a problem she could no longer ignore. "Show me his file," she ordered. A screen appeared in the air before her. A man's face looked back at her. Strong features, dark eyes that seemed to challenge her even through a picture. Todd was 30 years old, born 20 years after the Dominion came to Earth. His parents had died in the first big human uprising when he was 10. Since then, he had fought against the Dominion in many ways. "He is clever," Hannah said quietly, "always striking where we are weak, then disappearing. Shall I send more soldiers to find him, Your Highness?" Hannah thought for a moment. "No, more soldiers will only make the humans hate us more. There must be another way." 50 miles away, in an underground base hidden beneath old subway tunnels, Ta studied maps spread across a metal table. Around him stood 4 other rebels waiting for his words. "The raid went well," Ta said. "We have enough medicine now to help the sick in the eastern camps." Sue, his most trusted fighter, nodded. Her short hair was practical for battle, her eyes always alert. "But they will increase security now. Each attack makes the next one harder." "True," Tai agreed. "But each success brings more humans to our side." He pointed to the map. "The Dominion thinks we are just animals fighting for food and supplies. They don't understand we are fighting for something bigger." "Freedom," said one of the younger rebels. Ta nodded. "Yes, and they don't expect us to hit the same area twice in a row." He pointed to the map again. "Which is exactly what we will do tomorrow night." Sue looked worried. "That's dangerous, Ta." "All of this is dangerous," he replied with a small smile. "But the princess has moved extra food and supplies to the same place, thinking we wouldn't dare return so soon." What Ta didn't say was that he had been studying Princess Hannah for months now. Unlike other Dominion rulers before her, she seemed to care about keeping both humans and aliens alive. She had stopped the worst punishments and even opened some food centers for poor humans. This made her dangerous in a different way. Some humans were starting to think she might not be as bad as other alien rulers. That night, Tai couldn't sleep. He left his small room and walked through the tunnels of the base. Most rebels were asleep, but a few nodded to him as he passed. They trusted him with their lives. He reached a section of tunnel with a crack in the ceiling. Through it, he could see the night sky and a few stars between the clouds. "We will never be free as long as they rule us," he whispered to himself. "No matter how kind the princess seems, she still sees us as less than her people." What Ta didn't know was that at that very moment, Princess Hannah was looking at the same stars, wondering if there was a better way to bring peace to this troubled world. Neither knew that soon their paths would cross in a way that would change everything. The night was dark. No moon showed in the sky. Ta led 5 rebels toward the supply depot. They moved like shadows between buildings. "Remember, we get in and out fast," Ta whispered. "No big fights if we can help it." Sue checked her weapon. "What if something goes wrong?" "Then we split up and meet at point B," Ta said. He had always planned for the worst. They reached the back wall of the depot. 2 Dominion guards stood at the gate, their blue skin almost glowing in the darkness. Ta signaled, and one of his team shot a small device that landed near the guards. A soft hiss and sleeping gas filled the air. The guards fell without a sound. "Move," Ta ordered. They climbed over the fence and ran to the main building. Inside, they found more supplies than they expected. Food, medicine, and even some weapons were stacked high. "They are gathering things for something big," Sue said, looking worried. Ta nodded. "Take what we need. Quick." The rebels filled their bags, working fast and quiet. Ta moved to a computer screen on the wall. He placed a small device on it that would copy information. This was often more valuable than supplies. Everything was going well. Too well. Suddenly, bright lights flashed on. Alarms screamed. Heavy doors slammed shut. "It's a trap," Ta shouted. Dominion soldiers poured in from hidden doors. There were at least 30 of them, all with weapons aimed at the rebels. "Run for the back exit," Ta ordered, firing his weapon to give his team cover. The rebels fought hard. They'd reached the back door, but more soldiers waited there. "Ta, come on," Sue called. She had found a small side window and was helping others escape. Ta kept firing, holding the soldiers back so his team could get away. When he finally turned to follow, a stun blast hit him in the back. He fell, his body numb, his mind still clear enough to know what had happened. The trap had not been just for any rebels. It had been set for him. Princess Hana was reading reports when Commander Jin entered her office. Jin was tall even for their species, with dark blue skin and cold eyes. He bowed stiffly. "We have captured the rebel leader Tai," he said, his voice full of pride. Hana looked up, surprised. "How?" "We knew they would try the same place twice. It is his pattern. We let the first raid succeed to make him confident." Hana stood up. "Where is he now?" "In the holding cells. He will be executed tomorrow, as is our law for rebels." "No," Hana said firmly. Jin's eyes narrowed. "Your Highness, I want to speak with him first. But that is not our way. Rebels are not given." "I am in charge here, Commander," Hana interrupted. "My father sent me to find better ways to handle Earth. 50 years of harsh rule has only created more rebels. Perhaps it is time to understand why they fight." Jin looked unhappy but bowed again. "As you wish, Your Highness." After he left, Hana studied Ta's file again. Something about this human interested her. He fought hard but tried not to kill when possible. His raids focused on supplies, not revenge. He was smart and had strong support from other humans. She needed to understand her enemy to rule effectively. At least, that's what she told herself. Ta woke in a small cell. His head hurt, but he was alive. That surprised him. Rebels were usually killed right away. The cell door opened. 4 guards entered, their weapons ready. "Stand up," one ordered. "The princess wants to see you." Ta slowly stood. Why would she want to talk to a dead man? The guard pushed him forward. "Move." As they led him through the halls of the tower, Ta thought of escape. But there were too many guards, too many locked doors. For now, he had to wait and watch. They brought him to a large room with windows looking out over the city. And there she was, Princess Hana. In person, she seemed younger than in the pictures he had seen. Her blue skin was lighter than other Dominion aliens. Her eyes were large and dark. "Leave us," she said to the guards. "But Your Highness," one began. "He is restrained, and I have protection," she said, touching a small device on her wrist. "Leave us." When they were alone, Hana studied Ta for a long moment. "So," she finally said, "you are the rebel who gives my soldiers so much trouble." Ta stood straight, meeting her eyes. "And you are the alien who rules my world." Neither knew that this meeting would change everything. The room was silent for a long moment. Ta stood with his hands bound, watching Princess Hana carefully. He expected anger or cruelty. Instead, she looked at him with curiosity. "Sit," she said, pointing to a chair across from her desk. Ta didn't move. I prefer to stand. And I prefer that you sit, she said firmly. This may be a long talk. Slowly, Tai sat down. He noticed there were no guards in the room, though he was sure they waited just outside. Why do you fight us? Hannah asked directly. Tai almost laughed. You take our world, rule our people, and you ask why we fight. My people came to Earth 50 years ago. Before I was born, we brought order and technology. You brought chains, Ta said. Pretty chains, but chains all the same. Hannah leaned forward. Tell me about these chains. Be specific. Tai studied her face, looking for tricks. But she seemed truly interested. This was not what he expected. You want examples? Fine. Humans cannot travel without permission. We cannot gather in groups larger than 10. We cannot learn your science or use your technology. We work in your factories but cannot own businesses. We are not even allowed to learn our own history anymore. Hannah took notes as he spoke. Go on. The work camps in the north. The testing facilities where humans disappear. The food that goes to your people first while humans starve. There are food centers for humans, Hannah pointed out. Not enough. And only in cities you control completely. For hours they talked. Ta described life under Dominion rule. Sometimes Hannah argued back. Sometimes she just listened. When food was brought in, she shared it with him, eating the same things he did. Why am I here? Ta finally asked. Why not just kill me like other rebels? Hannah stood and walked to the window. Perhaps I am curious. Perhaps I want to understand why, after 50 years, humans still resist so strongly. We will always resist until we are free. Hannah turned to look at him. What would freedom look like to you, Ta? Truly? The question surprised him. No one from the Dominion had ever asked what humans wanted. We would rule ourselves, he said, make our own choices, learn, grow, trade with other worlds as equals, not as slaves. You think you are slaves. What else would you call it? Hannah seemed troubled by his words. It is late. Guards will take you to a cell. We will talk again tomorrow. As the guards led Tai away, he wondered why the princess had talked to him for so long. What was her plan? In her private room, Hannah reviewed her notes from the meeting with Ta. Some of what he said matched reports she had seen. But other things, the testing facilities, the work camps, she had never heard about. She opened her computer and searched through official files. There was nothing about these things. Either Tai was lying, or someone was hiding information from her. Hannah used her royal access codes to search deeper. Most files were as she expected. But then she found locked files that even she could not open without special permission from the Emperor. Why would there be secrets kept from her, the ruler of Earth? She sent a message to her most trusted aide. Find me all information about human work camps in the north and testing facilities. Be careful who sees you looking. In his cell, Ta lay on a bed that was surprisingly comfortable. The princess was not what he expected. She had listened, really listened. But could she be trusted? No. She was still the enemy, still the face of those who ruled Earth. Yet something about her seemed different from other Dominion leaders. The way she asked questions showed she truly wanted to understand. It doesn't matter, he told himself. She is still one of them. But as he fell asleep, Ta wondered what would happen if the princess learned the full truth about how her people ruled Earth. Would she care? Could she change things even if she wanted to? Tomorrow would bring another meeting. Another chance to understand the enemy. Another chance, perhaps, to plant seeds of doubt in the princess's mind. What Ta didn't know was that those seeds were already growing. 3 days had passed since Ta's capture. Each day, Princess Hannah called him to her office for long talks. To his surprise, the guards had removed his restraints on the second day. Meanwhile, Hannah's trusted aide had brought her disturbing news. There are work camps in the north, Your Highness, the aide whispered, looking nervously at the door, and testing facilities. Commander Jin oversees them directly. Show me, Hannah ordered. The aide handed her a small device. On it were pictures and reports never meant for her eyes. Humans working in terrible conditions. Medical tests that caused pain and sometimes death. All approved by military leaders who reported to her. Hannah felt sick. How did I not know of this? They keep 2 sets of reports, Your Highness. One for you, one for the real operations. That afternoon, when Tai arrived for their daily talk, he noticed something different about the princess. She seemed troubled. You look like someone who has seen an ugly truth, Ta said. Hannah looked up, her large dark eyes meeting his. Perhaps I have. She showed him the device with the reports. These are the camps you spoke of. Ta looked at the pictures and nodded slowly. Yes, my cousin died in that one. He pointed to an image of a large facility surrounded by high walls. Why would my people do this? Hannah asked, more to herself than to Ta. Power, Ta said simply. Control. Hannah turned away. This is not what we are meant to be. My father always said we came to help primitive worlds grow. Ta wanted to be angry at her words, but he saw real pain in her face. Is that what they taught you? That we are primitive? Yes, that humans needed guidance to reach their potential. And do you still believe that? Hannah was quiet for a long time. I don't know what to believe anymore. Commander Jin walked quickly through the halls of the tower. Something was wrong. Princess Hannah had been asking strange questions. His spies reported that her aide had been searching through restricted files. He entered a secure room where 3 other military leaders waited. The princess is becoming a problem, Jin said without greeting. She spends hours talking to the rebel prisoner. She questions our methods. She is young, one officer said. She will learn. No, Jin said sharply. She is soft, weak. She cares too much about human comfort. What can we do? She is the emperor's daughter. Jin smiled coldly. I have already sent a message to the emperor. I told him his daughter shows concerning sympathy for the humans. That perhaps she needs more training back home. And if the emperor does not agree, then we will need to take more direct action. That night, Hannah made a decision. She went to Ta's cell alone, dismissing the guards. You should not be here, Ta said, surprised to see her. I need to see something for myself, she said. Will you help me? Ta looked suspicious. See what? One of the camps. I need to see with my own eyes, not just in pictures. Ta stared at her. You want to leave the tower? With me? Why not just order your soldiers to take you? Because I don't know who I can trust anymore, Hannah said quietly. I think Commander Jin and others have been lying to me from the start. Tai thought for a moment. This could be a trap. But something in the princess's eyes told him she was being honest. If I help you, he said slowly, and you see the truth, what then? Then I decide if I am my father's daughter or my own person, Hannah replied. Tai made his choice. There's a work camp 2 hours from here. We could reach it before morning if we leave now. Hannah handed him a small package. Inside was plain clothing, human clothing. Put these on, she said. I have a vehicle waiting. As Tai changed, he wondered if he was making a huge mistake. Trusting the alien princess could get him killed. It could destroy the resistance. But it could also change everything. What neither Todd nor Hannah knew was that Commander Jin's spies were watching, and Jin was already planning how to use their secret meeting to destroy them both. Darkness covered the land as Hannah drove the small vehicle away from the city. She wore simple clothes and a hood to hide her blue skin. Ta sat beside her, watching the road ahead. Turn left at the next crossing, he said quietly. They had been driving for an hour. Few cars were on the road at this late hour. That was good. They needed to stay hidden. Someone is following us, Ta suddenly said, looking at the mirror. Hannah checked too. A black vehicle was behind them, staying at the same distance. One of Jin's spies, she said. He must have people watching me. We need to lose them, Ta said. Take the next right turn. Hannah turned quickly. The road became narrow, winding between old buildings. Ta directed her through a series of turns until they lost their follower. "You know these streets well," Hannah said. "I've spent years hiding from your people," Ta replied. After another hour, they approached the work camp. From a hill nearby, they could see it clearly. High walls surrounded large buildings. Bright lights lit the yard where humans worked even at night, moving heavy boxes and materials. Guards with weapons walked along the walls. Some hit workers who moved too slowly. Hannah stared in horror. "This is not what I approved." The reports I saw showed clean facilities where humans worked normal hours for fair pay. "This is the reality," Ta said. "And this camp is better than most." They watched in silence. Then Hannah saw something that made her gasp. A group of humans was brought out. They could barely walk. Some had marks on their skin from tests. "What are they doing to them?" she whispered. "Testing new weapons, new drugs," Tai answered. "Those who survive become workers. The others..." He didn't finish. Tears filled Hannah's eyes. "My father cannot know about this. He would never allow such cruelty." Ta looked at her with sad eyes. "Are you sure? Or is it easier to believe he doesn't know?" Before Hannah could answer, lights flashed behind them. 3 Dominion vehicles surrounded them. "We've been found," Ta said, grabbing Hannah's arm. "We need to run." But it was too late. Soldiers approached with weapons ready. Commander Jin stepped out from the lead vehicle, smiling coldly. "Princess Hannah," he said, bowing slightly. "How interesting to find you here, with a rebel criminal." "I am your ruler, Commander," Hannah said firmly. "I go where I please." "Not anymore," Jin replied. "I have received direct orders from the Emperor. You are relieved of your duties and will return home for retraining." Hannah stood tall. "I don't believe you." Jin showed her a message with the Emperor's seal. "Your father is most disappointed in your human sympathies." Guards grabbed Tai roughly. He fought back, but there were too many. They hit him until he fell to his knees. "Stop," Hannah ordered. "I command you to stop." Jin laughed. "You command nothing now, Princess. The rebel will be executed, and you will go home to learn how a proper ruler behaves." The guards put restraints on both Tai and Hannah. "You've been planning this," Hannah said to Jin. "The reports I saw were all lies." "Of course," Jin said. "Humans are resources, tools, nothing more. Your father understands this. Soon you will too." They were put in separate vehicles. As they drove away, Hannah looked back at Ta. Their eyes met briefly. Despite everything, she saw no hate in his eyes, only determination. Meanwhile, at the rebel base, Sue paced back and forth. It had been days since Ta's capture. "We have to rescue him," she told the other rebels, "before they kill him." "How?" asked one. "The tower is too well guarded." Just then, a rebel rushed in. "News from our spy in the city. Ta was seen leaving the tower with the princess." They were heading north. Then Commander Jin followed with soldiers. Sue grabbed her weapon. "Get ready. We move now." "But we don't know where they are," someone said. "I know exactly where they would go," Sue replied. "The northern camp. Ta has wanted to free those people for months." As the rebels prepared for rescue, Sue looked at the map. She had to find Ta before Jin killed him, and she had to decide what to do about the alien princess who had taken their leader away. The holding cell was cold and dark. Ta tested the strength of his restraints for the 10th time. They would not break. 2 guards stood outside his cell door, waiting for morning when he would be executed. In another part of the building, Princess Hannah sat in a more comfortable room, but she was still a prisoner. A ship would arrive tomorrow to take her back to the Dominion homeworld. The door to her room opened. Commander Jin entered with 2 guards. "I hope your accommodations are acceptable, Princess," he said with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "You are a traitor," Hannah said coldly. "You have lied to me and to my father." Jin laughed. I serve the true purpose of the Dominion, to rule. You are too soft, too weak to lead. Your father will understand once I explain everything. Will you tell him about the torture, the testing on humans, the camps? Those are necessary methods, Jin replied. Humans respect only power and fear. After Jin left, Hana pulled from her sleeve a small device she had hidden when they were captured. It was a communication tool that all royal family members carried. She had one chance to use it before they would detect it. She could call her father and try to explain. But would he believe her over Jin? Instead, she activated a different function, a map of the building with security details. She studied it carefully. Then she did something no one would expect from a princess. She broke the legs of the small table in her room and used a sharp piece to remove a panel in the wall that the map had shown. Behind it were electrical controls. Hana had studied engineering before being sent to Earth. She knew exactly which wires to cross. The lights in the entire building went out. Ta looked up in surprise as darkness filled his cell. The guards outside cursed and turned on small lights. One went to check what had happened, leaving only one guard at the door. Suddenly, there was a noise in the hall. The remaining guard fell to the floor. The cell door opened. Tai prepared to fight, but stopped when he saw who it was. Princess Hana. "We don't have much time," she whispered, using the key to remove his restraints. "Why are you helping me?" Tai asked in surprise. "Because Jin is wrong about humans. And about me." She handed him a weapon she had taken from the guard. "I've studied the building plans. There's a way out through the lower levels." They moved quickly through dark hallways. Twice they had to hide from guards. Once Tai had to fight a guard who spotted them. Hana looked away as Tai knocked the guard unconscious. "I've never hurt anyone before," she said quietly. "Let's hope you never have to," Tai replied. They reached a door that led outside. Freedom was just steps away, but as they opened it, alarms started blaring. "Run," Ta shouted. They sprinted toward the trees beyond the yard. Guards shouted behind them. Weapons fired. A shot hit the ground near Hana's feet. Then different shots came from the trees ahead of them. Several guards fell. "Get down," a familiar voice shouted. Tai pulled Hana to the ground as more shots flew over their heads. From the trees emerged Su and a dozen rebels, firing at the guards. "This way," Su called. Tai and Hana ran to the trees where the rebels waited. Su looked at the princess with distrust. "Why is she with you?" Su demanded. "She helped me escape," Tai explained quickly. "She's on our side now." Su didn't look convinced but nodded. "We have vehicles waiting. We need to move fast." As they ran through the forest, more alarms sounded from the building. Lights came on, sweeping the grounds. "Jin will send everything he has after us," Hana said. "He can't let me tell the truth about what's happening here." They reached the vehicles, 3 old trucks hidden under branches. The rebels quickly got in. Ta helped Hana into the middle truck, where Su was driving. "I know somewhere safe," Ta said. "An old bunker my group found last year. Not even the other rebels know about it." As they drove away, Hana looked back at the facility becoming smaller in the distance. "There's no going back now," she said softly. "No," Tai agreed, "for either of us." What had started as enemies facing each other had become something new, an alliance that would shake the foundations of the Dominion's rule on Earth. The hidden bunker was deep underground, far from any city. 3 days had passed since the escape. Inside, rebels came and went, bringing news from all over the world. Tai and Hana sat at a table covered with maps and plans. "Jin has taken full control," a rebel reported. "He tells everyone that Princess Hana is sick and has gone home. He rules in the Emperor's name now." Hana looked down at her hands. "He will send messages to my father full of lies. The Emperor will believe I have betrayed him." "Maybe," Ta said, "but we have something Jin doesn't expect." He pointed to Hana's small royal device. This can send messages directly to the Dominion fleet, and it has your royal codes. Jin can't block them. Sue stood nearby, still watching Hana with careful eyes. Can we trust her? Really trust her? I have seen the truth, Hana said, meeting Sue's gaze. I cannot unsee it. I cannot return to believing the lies. Ta nodded. She risked everything to help me escape. She could have called her father instead. Sue didn't look fully convinced, but nodded once. So what's the plan? Ta pointed to the map. We need to show the world the truth. Jin controls the big communication centers, but there are smaller ones here, here, and here. He pointed to 3 locations. If we can take them, even for a short time, we can send out messages to all humans. And I can use my royal codes to disable Dominion security systems, Hana added. Not all of them, but enough to give rebels in other cities a chance to act. A worldwide uprising, Sue whispered. Is that even possible? It's our only chance, Ta said. If we wait, Jin will find us, and he'll make sure no human ever resists again. They worked through the day and night, sending secret messages to rebel groups across the planet. Hana taught them how to target weak points in Dominion security systems. Ta created a plan that would hit many places at once, spreading Dominion forces too thin to respond everywhere. But Jin was not sitting idle. In the main tower, he met with his top commanders. The princess has joined the rebels, he told them. This is treason of the highest order. I have informed the emperor that his daughter has been corrupted by human ideas. And his response? Asked the commander. Jin smiled coldly. He has given me full control to handle the situation. A Dominion fleet is on its way, bringing special weapons. The commander looked worried. What kind of weapons? The kind that solves our human problem once and for all, Jin replied. A biological agent that affects only humans. It will make them docile, easy to control. But millions could die if the dosage is wrong. Jin shrugged. Then we'll have fewer problems to manage. The day of the uprising came. Across the world, rebels attacked Dominion posts, communication centers, and security buildings. Using Hana's codes, they disabled defense systems and weapons. Ta, Hana, and Sue led the main attack on the central communication tower. They fought their way through guards and security barriers. When they reached the broadcast center, Hana used her royal code to override the systems. Ta stepped up to the global broadcast system. His voice would reach every corner of Earth. People of Earth, he began. Today we fight for our freedom. For 50 years we have lived under Dominion rule. Today that ends, we have proof of their crimes against us. The screen showed images of the work camps, the testing facilities, the cruelty hidden from view for so long. Then Hana stepped forward. Her blue skin and royal markings were clearly visible to all. I am Princess Hana of the Star Dominion, she said, her voice strong. What you have seen is true. I have seen it with my own eyes. This was hidden from me, from the Emperor, but now the truth is known. I stand with the humans. I stand for freedom. Across the planet, humans watched in amazement as an alien princess denounced her own people and called for their freedom. But in his secure command center, Jin watched too. And he began the countdown for the launch of the biological weapons that would end the human resistance forever. Alarms blared throughout the communication tower. Red lights flashed everywhere. Ta, Hana, and the rebels had just finished their broadcast when armed guards burst into the room. We need to leave now, Sue shouted, firing at the guards. They fought their way out of the broadcast room and down a hallway. Rebels fell. Dominion guards fell. The air smelled of smoke and weapons fire. This way, Hana said, leading them down a service corridor. There's a transport bay on the lower level. As they ran, Hana's royal device beeped. She looked at it, and her face went pale. What is it? Tai asked. Jin has activated something called Project Silence, she said, her voice shaking. It's a biological weapon designed to target humans only. Tai stopped running. What does it do? It affects the human brain, makes people unable to resist or fight back. Hannah looked at the small screen. The launch countdown has started. We have 30 minutes. Sue grabbed Hannah's arm. Can you stop it? Maybe, but I need to get to the command center. It's at the top of the tower. Tai turned to the rebels. Change of plans. Sue, take half our people and get as many humans out of the city as possible. The rest come with us to the command center. Sue nodded. Be careful. She looked at Hannah. Keep him safe. They split up. Ta, Hannah, and 8 rebels headed upward while Sue and the others went down to warn the city. They fought through more guards. 2 more rebels fell. By the time they reached the upper levels, only Ta, Hannah, and 3 rebels remained. The command center is just ahead, Hannah said, but Jin will be there. Tai checked his weapon. Then we face him together. Inside the command center, Jin watched screens showing fights across the city. The rebels were winning in many places, but soon none of that would matter. Countdown at 15 minutes, a computer voice announced. Jin smiled. Soon the humans would be unable to resist. Those who survived would be perfect workers, their minds dulled by the weapon. The door to the command center exploded inward. Tai and the rebels rushed in, firing at Jin's guards. Hannah followed, heading straight for the main control panel. Stop her, Jin shouted. Guards tackled Hannah before she reached the controls. Tai fought his way to her, but more guards blocked his path. Jin walked calmly to Hannah, who struggled against the guards holding her. Princess, you disappoint your father and your entire species. My father would never approve of what you're doing, Hannah said. This is genocide. This is control, Jin replied. Something you never understood. One by one, the rebels with Tai fell. Soon Tai stood alone, surrounded by guards. Countdown at 10 minutes, the computer announced. Jin looked at Tai with cold eyes. Watch as your precious humans become nothing more than empty shells. Something changed in Hannah's face. With strength born of desperation, she broke free from the guards and ran to the control panel. Her fingers flew over the controls. Stop her, Jin screamed. Guards fired. A blast hit Hannah in the side. She gasped in pain, but kept working at the panel. Countdown paused, the computer announced. Jin pulled out his weapon and aimed at Hannah. Step away or die. Ta saw his chance. While the guards watched Hannah, he grabbed a fallen weapon and fired at Jin. The blast hit Jin's arm, making him drop his weapon. The room erupted in chaos. Ta had fought his way to Hannah, who was still at the control panel, blood soaking her clothes. I can't stop it completely, she said, her voice weak. But I've changed the target. When it launches, it will affect the tower only. We need to get out, Ta said, supporting her as she struggled to stand. No time, she whispered. 5 minutes to new launch. You must go. Get everyone away from the tower. Ta looked at her with pain in his eyes. I won't leave you. You must, Hannah said. Your people need you. Jin was back on his feet, grabbing for a weapon. Guards. Kill them both. Tai made the hardest choice of his life. He pressed his hand to Hannah's for one moment, then ran for the exit. The last thing he saw was Hannah turning back to the controls, standing tall despite her wounds, as guards rushed toward her. 3 days after the battle at the tower, Ta stood on a hill overlooking the city. The Dominion Tower was now dark and empty. No one could enter it for weeks because of the biological agent that had been released inside. The weapon had worked exactly as Hannah had programmed it. It affected only those inside the tower, Jin and his loyal guards. They were alive but unable to fight or resist when human forces finally entered wearing protective suits. But Hannah had been inside too. Ta had tried to go back for her, but Sue and others had stopped him. No one could survive in there, they said. Ta. Sue's voice came from behind him. The meeting is starting soon. Everyone is waiting for you. Ta nodded but didn't move. Any news from the tower? Sue touched his shoulder gently. The cleanup teams are still working. But it's been 3 days, Ta. If she was still. I know, Ta said quietly. He followed Sue to a large building that had once been a Dominion office. Now it was the center of the new human government. Leaders from rebel groups around the world had gathered to plan Earth's future. As Tai entered the main room, people stood up and cheered. He had become a symbol of the revolution, but the victory felt hollow without Hana. Suddenly, the room went quiet. Ta looked up to see what had happened. In the doorway stood a group of Dominion officers in full uniform, but they carried no weapons. At their front was a tall, blue-skinned male who looked a bit like Hana. "I am Captain Quan of the Dominion Fleet," he announced. "I have come to speak with your leaders." Guards moved to protect Ta, but he waved them away and stepped forward. "I am Ta. What do you want to say?" "We received messages from Princess Hana before the tower incident. She sent proof of Commander Jin's actions that were not approved by the Emperor." The room was silent. Ta's heart beat faster. "And the Emperor wishes to open talks for peace. Real peace, not the false peace Jin created." Whispers filled the room. Some people looked hopeful, others suspicious. "Why should we trust you?" Sue called out. "Because of this," Captain Quan said. He stepped aside. Behind him, supported by 2 medical officers, stood Hana. She was pale and looked weak, but she was alive. Tai couldn't move. He couldn't breathe. It seemed impossible. Hana took a shaky step forward. "My father's fleet arrived just after the weapon was released. They found me near death in a sealed safety room. Our medical technology saved me, though the recovery has been difficult." She looked directly at Ta. "I told my father everything. The camps, the tests, Jin's lies. He had no idea what was really happening on Earth." Captain Quan spoke again. "The Emperor has removed all of Jin's supporters from power. He offers freedom to Earth, with a new relationship between our worlds, as equals, not ruler and ruled." The room erupted in talk. Some people cheered, others argued. Tai heard none of it. He walked forward until he stood before Hana. "You survived," he said simply. She smiled weakly. "It seems I am hard to kill." "What happens now?" Tai asked. "Will you go home?" Hana looked around the room, at the humans who had been her enemies just days ago. "Home has changed its meaning for me. If Earth will have me, I would stay as an ambassador between our worlds. There is much work to be done." Months later, on a hill overlooking the city, Tai and Hana stood side by side. Below them, humans and Dominion people worked together to rebuild. It wasn't always easy. 50 years of pain couldn't be erased quickly, but it was a start. "My father asked me again to come home," Hana said. Ta looked at her. "And I told him I am home." She turned to face Ta. "I have found where I belong." Tai took her hand. Their fingers intertwined. Blue skin against tan, alien, and human. Once enemies, now something else entirely. "When I was a boy," Ta said quietly, "I was taught to hate your kind, to see only the ruler, the enemy. And I was taught humans were primitive, needing our guidance," Hana replied. "We were both wrong." They stood together as the sun set. The stars began to appear. The same stars that had brought them together from different worlds. Worlds that now faced a future neither had imagined possible. A future without hate. The end.